The road of failures to glory. In a small town, far away from shining cities, there lived a boy named Ayan. He wasn't rich, he didn't have fancy clothes, and his shoes were worn out. But inside his eyes lived a burning dream to change his life, to rise above the limits set by his circumstances. Every day, Ayan walked miles to school. His classmates mocked him. Look at him. He can't even afford a proper bag. How can he ever dream of success? And the sad truth? Ayan often believed them. His grades were poor. Sometimes even teachers shook their heads and said, "This boy will not achieve much." Act 1. Endless failures. Exam after exam. Failure. Test after test. Disappointment. Each red mark on his paper was like a knife in his heart. At night, he would sit alone, staring at the stars, asking, "Why me? Why can't I win, no matter how hard I try?" His father worked as a laborer. His hands were full of blisters. One night, when he saw Ayan crying, he asked, "Why these tears, my son?" Through sobs, Ayan whispered, "Father, I keep failing. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not meant for success." The father, exhausted yet wise, placed his hand on his son's shoulder and said words that would change his destiny. "My son, failure is not the end. Failure is the training ground for greatness. If you quit today, you lose forever. But if you rise tomorrow, every failure will become your weapon." Act 2. The turning point. That night, Ayan couldn't sleep. His father's words echoed in his heart. He looked at his books again, and for the first time, he didn't see them as enemies. He saw them as tools. From that day, while others slept, he studied under the dim light of a broken lamp. While others wasted time, he worked. While others mocked, he stayed silent and prepared. Days turned into months. Months turned into years. But success didn't come immediately. He failed again and again. Yet something had changed. Every time he failed, he stood up faster. Every time he fell, he got stronger. Act 3. Struggle and sacrifice. There were nights when hunger struck. His family didn't have enough food. Still, his mother smiled and said, "Eat, my son, you need strength." But he knew she was lying hungry. That pain, that sacrifice, fueled his determination. His shoes tore apart, but he kept walking. His books were second-hand, but he kept reading. His body was tired, but his spirit was on fire. Ayan whispered to himself every day, "I will not waste my father's sacrifice. I will not waste my mother's hunger. I will not waste my life." Act 4. The victory. Finally, the day came. The day that would change everything. He walked into the exam hall, not as the boy who feared failure, but as the warrior who had trained for years. When the results came, silence filled the room. On the top of the list, written in bold letters, Ayan, first position. Years later, that same boy who was mocked for his failures stood on a grand stage. The spotlight was on him. A gold medal was placed around his neck. Thousands of people clapped, and his parents' eyes were full of tears. A reporter asked him, "What made you rise after so many failures?" Ayan smiled and replied, "Every failure was my teacher. Every sacrifice was my strength, and my father's words, 'Failure is not the end, it is the beginning of my glory,' became my truth." Final message. So remember this. You may fail once, twice, even 100 times, but failure is never final unless you quit. Greatness is not born in comfort. It is born in sleepless nights, in sacrifices, in wounds that nobody sees. Fall as many times as life pushes you down, but rise one more time, because your glory is waiting.